All right. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? It's Sunday. Sunday. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Hola! It's Rant and Ramble, baby. Rant and Ramble. What's going on? If you guys aren't familiar, if this is your first time checking us out, we do a show on Sundays. When I say we, I mean me. It is more of a conversation piece. If you're looking for what tokens to buy, if you're looking for what's the next moonshot, this ain't it. If you're looking to talk about all the different possibilities with regulation, this ain't it. But if you want to talk about looking inward, I think where we can improve our mentality, our financial kind of perception, and what we can do to make ourselves more efficient, to be more productive, not only in our own lives, but also in our finances, our investments, in our future, and what steps we can identify within ourselves that we can take to get to the next level. Also, I like to keep it energetic, fun. I like to play music, and so you're gonna get lots of this vibe right here. Also, I'm gonna talk to the chat. I'm gonna say what's up to all my peoples. We're gonna answer questions if you have any, and I'm just really excited because it's Sunday. And you know what? If you've watched this before, you know that Sunday is my favorite day of the week. You can see how we did this week. What was my productivity? What did I get done? And I can lay out what I would like to accomplish, things that I want to tackle next week. Oh, what a perfect day. Also, here in Las Vegas, the weather's beautiful. It's nice, springtime in full effect. Just got the vegetable garden planted. Also, I'll talk about myself with y'all. Y'all got some questions about Big Rob? Let me know. And I'm going to give a shout out to the chat. So if you're new here, you know the deal. Say hello so I can drop an hola back at you. And to all of our new people, get this going. All right. So if you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got snacking back. We got Crypto Epidemic. We got Crypto 420, 88 Mania, Gary Berg, Pack Sad, Crypto Hands, Tug Eye, Knoxville. We got Burke, West Salazar, Epidemic, I already said that, Wise Tree, Granziano, DD, Lazarus Hand. We got FOMO Sapien, Destroyer up in here, Kino. Also, Crypto on the Run, Colin McDaniel, Uncle Candles, Jeremy Lay, Old Man 13. We got Rabbit up in here as well. If I missed you, my bad. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Rant and Ramble, Sin City Crypto. If you've never seen us before, we do got a studio. This is at my loft. All right. Where are we starting this thing at today? First of all, Bitcoin's under 28,000. Let's just, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's take a peek at this thing. Bitcoin, 27.7. What? I feel like we've been hanging out here for about a week now, right? Has it been a week? Yeah, it's been a week at the 28K mark. Taking a look at the month, you can see that we went from 23,000 in this $22,000 range. We are now in a whole different zone, and that's been for the last week, exactly. So, excited to see where this will go next week. I do think that it is on the table to get 30,000. I think that is the general direction that we are going. We're trending upward, not down. And I think the next stop is 30,000. And I think we'll get there by the end of the week. Also, we got 60 people in here. Let's get the like button. So if you like the video, help us out. Let's get some more people in here. Stay active in the chat. And before we get any further, I do want to drop an Ola in the chat. Let's get the Olas in here. Let's see if we can get 62 Olas, because we got 62 people here. I'll lead off the charge with the first Ola. And then we also have Jerry Ferrari up in here. It seems pretty new. I haven't seen you before. And O-Man as well, 13 to all of you. Ola! And that's our thing here. We see Olas, you know. I like going into other people's chat, dropping one Ola, and then just seeing it rip. All right, and then we got a few Olas here. Let's see, we got Ola. Got my boy here. Here we go. Rosen up in here with the Ola. DD with the Ola. Calvin. Yeah. Let's go, Tug Eye. All right. So let's get into it. So I'm going to lead off first with a couple topics on crypto. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Just a couple little conversation pieces, warm us up. And then from there, we're going to kind of break down some areas that we want to discuss to improve ourselves, take us to the next level. And then for that, let's see here. We got, first of all, if you haven't been paying attention, last week we had the SEC issue a Wells notice to Coinbase saying, hey, if you're not familiar with what a Wells notice is, it's basically what someone will send, a branch of government will send to a company saying, hey, we are preparing for litigation, just a heads up. Usually with a Wells notice, they give that to a company. And that's usually where, hey, we're about to go to court. Here is what we're looking at. This is the situation. This is the charges that we're lining up for you, basically. And usually with the Wells notice is where a company comes in and negotiates. So let's just say I was a company. I had some issues. I wasn't following the proper regulation guidelines. I broke some laws, had some fraud, whatever it is, made some mistakes. During the Wells notice, you can say, okay, these are the charges that we're about to file. Let's sit down. Let's see if we can't settle this out. I have an admission of guilt. I say I'll pay X amount of fine. And from there, we can resolve this. Now, it doesn't always play out that way. In the case of XRP, for example, and you go to court and you have litigation. And so it seems like Coinbase is going to have this legal battle and that they're going to fight against the SEC. And look what we got here. And I'm telling you, there's a spirit, there's an energy coming from Coinbase that they have no interest in settling because they don't feel like they did anything wrong. And Brian Armstrong here, his latest tweet, one of his latest tweets, or at least on this subject, is that I have to say the SEC's Wells notice has caused a noticeable boost in morale. Nice to have a common cause, but never forget the main goal is to build better products for customers. Improving policy landscape is necessary, but not sufficient. So Brian Armstrong has been a vocal supporter in the crypto community, and he has said he's going to go to bat for the crypto space and kind of the ethos, which is good because I feel like most of the people that have been defending crypto against regulation, or most of the very outspoken people in Congress, have been big supporters of Bitcoin. And Coinbase is obviously more diverse when it comes to its interest in crypto because, hey, they have hundreds of different assets that they offer outside of Bitcoin. So for that reason, they have a vested interest in the whole ecosystem getting through this. And one of the biggest sticking points when it comes to running an exchange is that, hey, if the SEC and the regulators here in the US deem everything but Bitcoin a security, then that seems to be a conflict of interest for an exchange because an exchange isn't supposed to offer securities. And so in the last Twitter Spaces that Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, he said that they have vetted all of their projects. There's a very complex or long list of things that they look at before they list a project, and that they don't list anything. They don't list any securities. So in stark contrast to what Gary Gensler and the SEC is saying, they don't list any securities, and they go through a process to identify that. They've sat down, they've had a few meetings, and now they just feel like they've been unfairly treated, and they are prepared to go to court. And there's been a large support of content creators, people in the community that have been pushing to buy the stock, Coinbase stock. And so there's this big movement like, hey, let's support Coinbase. Let's buy their stock up. And so that's been a growing narrative, and that's just to show support for the company. I am all aboard on that as well. I have not purchased any stock for transparency purposes. I'm not a big stock guy, but you know what? I will spread the message. Let's help out. If you're going to buy some stocks, why not buy Coinbase? One, price is down from its all-time high significantly. I don't have the chart here in front of me. I'll take a peek at it. But so they're down quite significantly. So it'd be a good buy. I still would recommend getting into crypto on-chain physical tokens like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if you're a stock person, why not pick up a little stock from Coinbase and show your support? And I think the Coinbase one is just called Coin. Yeah. So Coinbase Global. Let's take a look at their 1 year chart here. You can see at $204 here, kind of at their height, down to 67. They were as low as $37. And it's been in this kind of little zone here so it's not anything, it's not overbought. It's kind of like your typical DCA area. So, and then all time, yeah. So I think just like the regular market, just like the traditional market, just like the traditional crypto markets, where you have cycles, everything kind of follows the price of Bitcoin. You're going to see the same thing with Coinbase. Its stock, mining companies are very similar in the stocks that they follow the cycle and the general overall price of Bitcoin. So I do think that once Bitcoin comes out of its lows that it's been at for, obviously we're at 16,000 at the very beginning of the year in January, the first week of January. So we are trending upward, but this is going to follow halving coming up soon. I do want to talk about the halving a little bit as well, a little later on the show. So, and then on the topic of stocks, so I want to say you got Coinbase going to bat with the SEC, fighting to get some kind of clarity or regulation. Also, you have the NASDAQ. So this is I don't think this is getting as much attention as it should have. NASDAQ aims to launch crypto custody services in the second quarter. Stock exchange NASDAQ seeks regulatory approval as a crypto custodian. I think if this goes through, which it seems like it will, it doesn't seem like there's too much pushback. And if this goes through, I think this will usher in the era of the Bitcoin spot ETF. And if you're not familiar with that, basically just follow. It's just a custodian of sort that trades and buys Bitcoin relative to the price. So if there's an ETF publicly traded on the stock exchange, I can go in, I can buy one Bitcoin on the exchange, and then whoever operates that ETF has to go physically out and buy a Bitcoin on the other end. Same thing when you sell. And so it just gets more exposure to crypto, and for people that aren't plugged into the traditional crypto on and off ramps, and they just want to use the legacy stock market system. And it's pretty much the same thing as physically going out and buying it. Now, you can't take it off chain, so you have somebody custodying it for you, but it does follow the price. It should be 1-to-1. It should not deviate. It should not be like the BTC of what's it called? Grayscale, the Grayscale BTC Trust, where you get premiums. And so with the ETF, it should trade real time to the price of Bitcoin. Now, to get into this, U.S. stock exchange operator, make this a little bigger so you guys can see. So U.S. exchange operator NASDAQ plans to launch its own custody services for crypto assets by the end of June. The group is now working to obtain necessary approval from regulatory bodies that will allow it to provide such services, Bloomberg reported on Friday. And this is per the vice president of digital assets, the head of digital assets. NASDAQ has already applied for the New York Department of Finance services for a limited purpose trust company charter, which will oversee the new crypto business. And then the initiative was first announced in September. And this is the first inroad into the crypto economy for the company, which is the second largest American stock exchange by market cap. And then the realization of the project will start with the safekeeping and leading cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, before expanding into other digital assets. So you got Bitcoin and Ethereum going to be custodied by NASDAQ and probably offered in ETF. It would be my conclusion here. And this is huge. I mean, NASDAQ, we cover this all the time. As soon as you go to any financial website or trading platform or app, it's right here. Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ. These are something that everybody is always following. And soon you're going to have Bitcoin and Ethereum custodied and traded there on the NASDAQ. So that's it, right? I mean, what other roadblocks can you say can be broken down by some extremely bullish news like this? And I don't know, man. Tell me, boy's excited. Your boy is excited. Let's take a quick intermission. Say hello to some of the people here. If you got any questions you want to ask, go ahead and throw those in, because we're gonna move off of some of these topics, and let's get this thing going here. All right, let's see who we got up in here. We have Sauce Boss, Steven Jupp, Robert Conover, Group 64, Mitchell Silberg, and Shodo JDP or JP, We Bomb, and to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Are you guys bullish when it comes to NASDAQ? Okay, I want to know, is this a super big article for you? Because I'm juiced up about it. NASDAQ, let's do a 1 and a 2. NASDAQ, super bullish. Put a 1 in the chat if you're super bullish on NASDAQ. Let's put a 2 put a 2 in the chat if you think that TradFi, get out of here. Okay, so if you think it's not that big a deal, you know what? Crypto should be traded on exchanges like Coinbase. It should be done on chain with DeFi, and really not anything that bullish. Put a 2 in the chat. If you think that integration with the stock exchange, with traditional finance, bringing in more people, super bullish, you think it's gonna rally the markets, maybe take Bitcoin to new all-time highs, put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious to see where you guys line up on this. We got a lot of 1s already. Okay, we have FZ Hardhawker. He says 2. Also, 88 Mania says 2. Just more manipulation. That is 100% right. Mania nailed it there. It might be bullish. It might be good for the long-term adoption. You might get more people into crypto, but at the same time, you're welcoming their money. And we know what whales and traditional finance, hedge funds, and some of these billionaires, multi-billionaires, they do is they play whale games, and they tank and bump the prices up, especially if you're going to have futures contracts, which are already trading on the CME. Expect more volatility because, hey, if you have a big position for billions of dollars and you're going to close out at the end of the month, for example, with a futures contract, and you need the price to come in a little lower, whales are going to come in, dump on the order books, drop the price. That's what they do. But I think that's inevitable. So for me, I think, hey, whales are always going to play whale games. People are always going to try to make money. The market's always going to grow. Bitcoin's market cap is always going to get larger. And so for that reason, why fight it? Just embrace it. And with the more users, more money, the larger the market cap you get for Bitcoin and crypto in general, the harder it is to move markets. And right now, with Bitcoin coming in at a market cap of basically $500 billion, you know what? It's easier to move. But now imagine if Bitcoin was a 20 or a $80 trillion market cap. Gold is $20 trillion. It's harder to move the price of gold because of how much money it takes to make it move in either direction. And so as this market matures, you're going to see the prices being less impacted by one individual. But we're not there yet. And especially if we start trading on the stock exchange, I think that we're going to see massive manipulation, especially from hedge funds, people that have trillions of dollars of assets on hand that they can deploy capital easily to quickly manipulate the market. And not to mention the market cap of Bitcoin, a lot of it is not liquid. A lot of this is lost, and people have impermanent loss where they either died, lost their keys, and then you just have super hodlers that don't care about price. They're just going to hold it. So the amount of circulating Bitcoin that is actively traded that does manipulate the price is pretty small. So keep that in mind. And then let's see, we got Manny Lingo says, hola, calling for 50K Bitcoin after next Fed meeting. That is interesting. Next Fed meeting. When is the next Fed meeting? Let's take a peek here. We have, I am a U.S. resident. Thank you. And the next Fed meeting will be in May 3rd. So about a month and a week from now. So not too far away. I don't, I could see it with what's going on in the banking system right now. Little concerning, right? If you're in the circles of traditional finance, you're in this, hey, I'm leveraged up, I have my 401k. If you're just a traditional American and not plugged into crypto, I would be extremely worried, right? Or not, yeah, I would be extremely worried. Think about it. You got banks that are on the verge of collapsing. First Republic Bank is still down significantly on their stocks. They've had some private bailouts from other banks, and the contagion seems to be spreading. We have the Deutsche Bank has been the latest one to get the stress test, and from what I've seen so far, what we've seen is that once you're in the news, hey, this bank's about to go under. Once you're kind of in the limelight, if you had an account there. Okay, so we had Silvergate. They had a lot of issues, right? We discussed Silvergate for at least a couple months and some insolvency concerns with them, and then they went under. Then you had SVB, which that one came pretty quick. That one within about 2 or 3 days of this getting some circulation on mainstream media. Essentially, they also had some insolvency issues, were getting under, couldn't fulfill withdrawals. The FDIC stepped in. Also, so did the Treasury Department and the Fed to bail them out or bail out depositors. And then Signature Bank, that one caught everybody by surprise. First Republic, then Credit Suisse. That one, Credit Suisse, we've been talking about that for a few months as well. And now, so First Republic is front and center. Now, if you have money in First Republic, especially if you're above, well, here's the first of all, if you got money in First Republic, you might understand that the FDIC does insure, but do you want to go through all of that process? Like if you have, let's just say you have $100,000 on First Republic. Are you okay with them going under and then having to deal with the FDIC? And then maybe there might be some extra steps in getting your money out. Now, traditionally, the FDIC, when they do take over a bank, is pretty seamless and there hasn't been any issues. But at some point, you're going to have it be a liquidity issue where the FDIC steps in. And if there's a ton of users with billions of dollars, the FDIC supposedly only has $200 billion on deck. And when they run out of that, remember, SVB Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, they had over $170 billion worth of customer funds. So if one bank is 90% of all of the reserves for the FDIC, one bank, and they're the 16th largest bank. So just imagine if it was the 10th largest bank in the US and they went under. They wouldn't even have, FDIC wouldn't even have enough money. Now, the FDIC can draw from the government they'll draw from the Treasury Department to facilitate more cash, but they don't have enough money for all withdrawals, even the ones that are backing, even the FDIC. So would you feel comfortable having a First Republic Bank account? I wouldn't, because what happens if they go under? Sure, FDIC will insure. Maybe it takes me 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years to get all my funds out. Because of that uncertainty, I don't think it's worth the risk. And so we're seeing that bank, we're seeing Deutsche Bank, these being front and center. I'm just thinking from the perspective of someone, a depositor. Why would you keep your money on there? And so I find it hard pressed to figure out how these banks are going to survive, because we know there's not enough money if everybody goes to the counter and takes their money out. You don't even need to go to the physical counter because it's all digital. And so if you are in the headlines, you're going to go under. That's the way I look at it. Because all you have essentially is most of these banks, from the looks of it, they have 10, maybe 20% of customer funds in liquid assets for withdrawals. That's it. And so if you get more than 10 or 20% trying to get their money out, you're done. And if you are on the front page of CNN, front page of Fox Business, front page of Bloomberg, all of these simultaneously, and there's people tweeting about it, and there's videos of people lining up outside a bank, well, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. I'm sorry. Then no bailouts. There's too information spreads too quickly on the social media platforms, and these narratives might have been suppressed. These stories might have been suppressed in the past because the major broadcast networks could say, hey, let's not invoke fear. Let's not talk about this too much. Hey, we're our own media now. And so now you can have an echo chamber of Twitter users, Instagram, or wherever it is, say, hey, get your money off of this bank. It's going to go under. And then boom, you have a bank run. And then for bank runs, you don't even need to go down to the bank. You just do it digitally. You can withdraw billions of dollars, millions of dollars, all at the touch of a fingertip without ever walking up to any counter. So the liquidity is that much faster, and bank runs happen in real time now. And let's get into let's first of all, let's see here. Let's get into the chat real quick. And we got Stay Golden in here. It flips, it ships. Grouper 64, TFP, CNC Ireland. Also Jimmy up in here. Good to see you. We got Rocket Jr., Shirley Sound, Stephen Jook. To all of you. Hola! We also got Lusky. What's up? Mike Mene. And remember, if you guys got anything you want to ask Big Rob, put it in here, and I will be happy to answer, even if it's by myself. See, somebody said, look at this handsome guy. Who are we looking at? Me? Did y'all see I put Larry in the thumbnail? In the YouTube picture. FDIC hold up LOL says Stay Golden. So I want to shift the narrative to personal growth. So if you haven't watched this before, you know that we like to have a focus. And remember, we're all not perfect. We can all learn. We can all expand. And so hopefully you come along for this kind of thought process here, where we're gonna discuss improving ourselves. And why do you want to improve yourself? Because remember, your life force in its entirety kind of all works together. So if you're having bad money management, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not, you have a crappy job, you're gonna have a hard time turning a good profit or having a good savings portfolio or having good investments in crypto. So we like to focus on some opportunities to look inward and change some things about yourself, so that way you can increase the portfolio, increase the gains. And a lot of it starts from, one, having more disposable income. If you need more disposable income, you probably need to get a better job or work a second job or just be more efficient. There's ways of doing that. One, by educating yourself, being more valuable, and organizing some things in your life can help you get to where you want to be. So I want to discuss the importance of financial stability and your own financial freedom, especially being in the crypto space, and the correlation between having an organized life and having healthy finances, because the two go hand in hand. So disorder in your personal life and will usually pour over to disorder in your finances, right? And so we can start by making good financial decisions, right? And how do you have good financial decisions? Well, first of all, the most important thing is setting clear financial goals. Hey, I want to own 1 Bitcoin. I want to set aside X amount of money for savings. I want to have this amount of money in my checking account, so that way I don't have my overdraft fees. I want to get my debts. I want to lower my debts. I want to have, then also we're going to discuss the importance of good debt versus bad debt. Because most of us, at least here in the States, you're going to accumulate debt, and it's just kind of normal. But there's a difference between going out and buying a 85-inch TV when you're, living paycheck to paycheck, and also buying a car that you use to go to and from work. So those are a little different there. And then you got, so let's set our goals here. So your goals are going to break down into two camps. One, and I'm going to kind of play some music here as I talk about. And guys, some of this, you know what? Let's not go with that song just yet. Let's go with this one. So your goals are going to break down into short-term versus long-term goals. And you need to identify, your long-term goals are essentially made up of your short-term goals. And so when you're trying to figure out, hey, I want to own a Bitcoin, I want to save for my kids' college, I want to go get a new job, I want to have a new profession, I want to try something different. These are all accomplished by setting up short-term goals. And so if you don't have a long-term goal yet in sight, which I think you should try to identify one, but if you're having difficulties identifying a long-term goal, start with some short-term goals. I was like, hey, I want to be more active in my physical activity. I'll start running once a week. I want to go to the gym, whatever it is. And you might be asking yourself, like, what does this have to do with finance? It all ties together. Because as you become more efficient and more productive and more responsible and more accountable, this will be more responsive, everything I just said, paste that into your finances and your portfolio. And as you feel more confident about yourself, you radiate confidence, you bring in people that share similar visions. And then if you go to an interview, for example, real quick, if you go to an interview and you are overly confident, excited, you're ready to show somebody like how much more the company will benefit by having you there, that mentality and that perspective far exceeds somebody's resume. So if you have somebody in there that's, hey, I've worked here for 15 years, I excelled at what I did, I have this certification, all fine and dandy. if you're not excited, if you're not happy and upbeat and loving the direction that you're going, you are miles behind somebody else that is eager, willing to sit down and say, hey, this is what I've accomplished. This is what I'm excited about. And so setting goals really gets you in that mental mindset. And starting with smaller goals, my home, my personal finances, and then letting that build into a long-term goal. I like to set long-term goals. I keep those very general. And then from there, I will make more specific, very fine-tunable short-term goals. And then I can just start knocking those off. And so for my short-term goals, I have my daily, which this gets me closer to accomplishing my short-term goals. So my daily goals, I would say, hey, I'm gonna make the bed, I'm gonna take the dog for a walk, I'm gonna clean up this part of the house, I'm gonna do this with my garden, I'm gonna take this to my backyard. And as I start accomplishing these little short-term goals, these little short-term daily tasks, I become more productivity and I start rolling in. And then once I'm done with those tasks, once I've done the backyard, I've done, got my haircut, I've done whatever else I need to do. Now I'm like, all right, what's next? Now I start tackling my short-term goals, my projects. And then as I start knocking out my projects, these all tie into my long-term goals. And then I'm like, all right, now I'm that much closer. Hey, my long-term goals that I want to change my profession. I want to be in a different, completely different field. And so for me to get there, I can't just instantly say, hey, I want to be a musician that plays the piano. Well, hey, there's a lot of short-term goals. Perhaps the short-term goals to get there would be, I need to do research on what pianists do, what kind of certifications they have, what kind of schools, what can I do to be more, what can I learn in this field that other pianists have? And from there, my small goals can build up to the bigger one. And then once I knock those out one by one, I'm that much closer to getting to my long-term goals. And then at least in finance, when I set my short-term goals, I set a budget. And so this is kind of the big part of getting a good, solid, healthy portfolio is creating a budget. Identifying, for one, how much money you make, because a lot of times people spend more than they realize. And until you put it down on paper and you start saying, hey, how much am I spending here? How much money is leaving versus how much money I'm keeping in here? Creating a budget helps you identify that. And then you can see like, hey, I need to have an extra $1,000 at the end of this month. And so if you don't have a budget, you don't have it written down, you're going to have a hard time. Identifying where you can make up that cash. And so sometimes making a budget, like for me, for example, I have a ton of subscription services, a lot of these subscription services help me build content that for you guys. So a lot of video editing software, a lot of the songs and music that I use, a lot of the songs and music that we use here, I have multiple subscription softwares. Also, I have software. I have some video editing softwares on my phone that I use for real time, like shorts. Anyways, I got probably 20 or 30 different subscriptions. So I can, if I need to make some cuts, I can look and say, hey, here's my budget, here's my car, my house, here's my subscription services. And that, for me, I can identify that's probably an easy cut for me. What applications am I not currently using right now? And which one's gonna cut? Boom, I just saved $100 by cutting 3 apps or 3 platforms or subscriptions that I'm not readily using right now. And then maybe later on down the road, I can re-sign up for those. Same thing when it comes to food and lodging. And so with food, for example, let's just say you're eating out. And like, hey, I see that when my grocery bill is substantially cheaper than going out to eat 5 days a week. So if I don't go out to eat 5 days a week and I have my grocery bill substantially cheaper than the than the latter. And so just putting down a budget and seeing where your money's going will help you get more financial clarity. And then you can see, how much money do I need? And then, so if you set your goals, let's just say your financial goals is, I want 1 Bitcoin. Okay, how are you going to get there? All right, let's shorter term goals. DCA. I want to have $500 a month going into Bitcoin. And so how do I identify where $500 a month is going to go? Let's create a budget. Okay, now your budget, you're tracking your income and your expenses, and then you're prioritizing your expenses. Hey, this is important to me. This I can maybe cut. And then from there, allocating funds for your savings and investments. So you got 2 funds. You have your general income, and you have your savings and investments. So should have a little bit of savings, so that way you don't have to draw on your investments, because your investments are exactly that. Investments should be money you set aside that you don't touch. It's more of a long term. That's what investing literally translates into, is investing into the future, long term. So if you're investing and you have some kind of financial crisis, or you need to draw on money, the last thing you want to do is have to cash out on your investment, because if the market is not optimal at that moment, you could be cashing out a loss, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of investing. So have some money set aside for savings, for whatever the hell happens. You can also leverage credit as a backstop too. Not ideal, but if you want to have less savings, but say you have $30,000 or $40,000 worth of credit, that if something happens, you can put it on a credit card, for example. Let's just say your car breaks down, you don't have a lot of savings. Instead of cashing out your investment portfolio, you can just put it on a card if you feel comfortable, like you have enough disposable income coming in that you can take care of the credit card bill pretty quickly. Because the last thing you want to do is run up a credit card bill and have it sitting there accruing interest over the course of months. And then with the so you got your emergency fund, and then you got to have kind of some strategies. So the same way you DCA into investing, you should also kind of DCA into a savings account, or have a certain threshold you want to keep. So, hey, I want to have at least $2,000 in my savings account. First of all, if you're not at $2,000, you're going to need a DCA into savings account. So just kind of, hey, until I get to 2,000, I'm going to put $200 a week. After 10 weeks, I'll be at $2,000. And then once you reach that, just kind of trying to have some money management to keep that. Now you got managing debt. This is super important. So I think that's probably our biggest issue here, at least for me, in my adolescent days, especially. You have good debt, bad debt. I'm not going to go too far in depth into this, but just know that obviously you want to prioritize what you're using your debt for. Ideally, you don't want to have too much debt, but you're going to buy a house, probably going to buy a car. Most of us can't just buy it outright cash, so you're probably going to take on debt to do so. Those are examples of good debt. Now, you can go off the rails on those two as well. You can buy a $500,000 house, not have the budget for it, and live paycheck to paycheck because you want to ball out in a house. Same thing with a car. Get something that's within your means. When it comes to a car, I think under 10% of your salary or how much you make monthly is a good gauge. So if you make, let's say you make $60,000 a year, and that equates to was that $5,000 a month? So if you make it $5,000 a month, you shouldn't have over a $500 car payment, right? So if you make $60,000 a year, that's $5,000 a month. 10% of $5,000, $500. That should be the top. And then at the same time, for a home, a living expense, 20%. So home and auto should never be over 30%, 20%. So the same example, you make $60,000 a year, you make $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month, 20%, $1,000. So that should be kind of where you're at. That's why most people can't afford a home, because it's hard to, one, get rent under $1,000, to get mortgage under $1,000 by being a single income. Now, if you have multiple incomes, you have your house, I make 60,000, my wife makes 50,000. Now we have 110,000. We have 2 cars. And so you take 110,000, 10% of that, basically you're around 10,000. We'll just round it up to $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month, 10%, you have $1,000. So for both cars, $1,000. For your home, now you have $2,000. And so now it becomes a little bit more realistic. You can get an apartment. And so that's kind of what I do for managing my home and my auto, as far as how much I'm willing to spend on those versus how much I bring in. And then it's okay to have debt consolidation if you find yourself underwater and, hey, I'm never going to be able to pay this credit card off because of how I got here, how much money I make. I'll never be able to pay it off. The interest is growing faster than I can pay it off. Then you need to consider debt consolidation. That way, hey, I'm not just making payments on interest and not actually paying down the principal, because you're not going anywhere. You're just treading water and you're still stuck out at sea. You're never going to get back to land. So there's that. All right, and then let's get into the chat real quick. I wanna just kind of read what you guys are thinking, and then we're gonna move on to more about like organizing your own personal life and how organizing your personal life can help you get to your goals. So let's get some of the 80s music up in here. I know Jessica loves 80s music. I know she told me that last time she was here. I don't know if Jessica's here. I haven't seen her. But anyways, we got Stay Golden. Says he needs a sugar mama. Okay, that feels it. Wick 589. He's saying, and if you owe the IRS anything for taxes this year, you should think about contributing to an IRA. Yeah, there's a lot of, if taxes hit you hard, or you would like a bigger tax return, IRA definitely can circumvent some of your liabilities as far as capital gains, especially in the investing side. So, and he's saying not financial advice or tax advice. So appreciate him. What else we got? You may find that you can afford. Wick 589 is talking about budgeting as well. Stay Golden says 100% dedication. And Wes Salazar says, for your information, I've been a member for 4 months, 20 days, 420. What you doing on your Sundays, bro? Crypto Lifer in here. What's up, Lifer? Good to see you. If this is your first time here, this is, I know you like doing more kind of inward thinking and building and kind of building a solid base into growing. And a lot of and Lifer will tell you, man, it's your mentality, man, and your discipline, what you're doing on your day-to-day life, and your outlook on yourself and the world, and those translate directly to crypto 100%. Now, I can sit here and we can pull up charts and we can talk about like, hey, look, this triangle's forming, but you ain't got the capital on the side. You ain't got the gunpowder to DCA. Don't matter. So we're hypothesizing here. How can I get some more money? I need some more DCA ammunition. I need some more cash on the side. What can I do to optimize it? Hey, let's stop spending so much money. Let's start making more money. And if we aren't making enough money from our job, let's adjust. Let's change something. Let's get perhaps some more education or more certifications or more knowledge. Doesn't mean you have to go to college. Hey, that's the beauty of YouTube. I decide, hey, I want to build a studio here in Las Vegas. I work in a kitchen. I work in a restaurant. I have no idea. I don't know what any of these wires do. I don't know anything about audio or visual, but I know where I can find the information readily on the internet. It's all at your fingertips. You can just teach yourself anything. And so if there's a profession or a job or a hobby or something that you want to tackle or do, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you unless it requires a certain physical attributes. So let's just say, hey, I want to play in the NBA, but you're 40 years old. Not going to happen, right? But hey, if I want to start a food truck, hey, you know what? There's a whole process for that. You can teach yourself anything. Hey, I want to go out and be a personal trainer. Anything that you want to do in life outside of a couple niches, you're welcome to do so. And with the internet and all of this, especially with this AI, there's nothing stopping you from investing in yourself, making yourself more valuable, so that way you can go out there and do what you really want to do. You know, life is boring if you do what people expect you to do. Let me tell you that. Life is extremely boring if you do what people want you to do. When you sit down and you talk to your parents and they're like, hey, you know, you should keep that job because it gives you insurance and you have your 401k. And I told the lady at work that my son is, for myself here personally, I'll share a story. So my mom, super excited for me being a chef, right? She's like, I want you, she tells all her friends like, oh, my son's a chef. He works here. He works for Gordon Ramsay. He does this. And it's cool. Yeah. But at the end of the day, myself personally, I'm limited to my own personal expression. And so I'm following what another chef wants me to make. I don't get to diversify, be artistic because I need to follow another chef's recipes. And so for me, there's that kind of just suffocation where I want to be like, I want to scream like, hey, look what I'm building. Look what I can make. Like, I know this. Same way that this chef that I worked for knew it. And he had a chance to express himself. And the thing is I kept moving from one chef to another restaurant to another restaurant. And every time my creativity and my artisticness was stifled because they're like, it's my restaurant. You're going to do what I say. And I'm not saying that I was out of place, but I'm just saying this is my mentality. And all the while I'm working 13 hours, 14 hours, going in at 9, 10 a.m., not off till midnight, 1 in the morning, and then I do it 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Everything else is on pause. Can't hang out with the family, no wife, no kids. Everything's on the back burner. Everything. And for me, I'm like, is it worth it to have my voice just silenced? And for what? For the prestige? It's amazing. Everyone respects a chef. My mom's excited. She's like, my son is a chef. He works here. Cool. It's badass. It's a good story. Am I happy? No. And what's important to me is not coming. What's important to me is not happening. And so I decided I needed to make a change. So first I tried to get into wine. I'm like, hey, what? Let me, because I see those people making more money, working less hours. And it's also a craft and a skill to be there and pair wine with food and talk about it, educate, in an intellectual manner. It took years. I go, and society didn't want me to out of there. My mom didn't want me to leave the kitchen. The people in the restaurant were like, no. You got to be a chef. You can't go to the front of house. You can't work over there. And so eventually I was like, well, screw you guys. I went, got my certifications, did it anyways, years of studying. And I get that, I got there. I got it, and then I got the job, and then I did it. And I realized it's the same thing. The same problem I had before. Good. I like these wines. These are good. Let's put these on the list. And they say the same thing to me again. They're like, no, those wines aren't what the people like. We got to go California cab. Like, this is what they want to drink. We're not going to bring that in. It's too expensive. You know, we get in. And so found myself in the same situation where, hey, I have all this vast knowledge and all this creativity when it comes to what the people that come here, I know I can speak to them. I know, like, hey, you're going to love this wine. It's going to go great with this dish. And anyways, I'm sitting there and it's all this big circle. Then I go to another job, and it's the same thing. And I'm like, crap, long hours, underpaid, and my voice doesn't come out. I don't get to do what I want to do. And so then I shift again, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna play video games. And then I'm like, what do I like to do? What can I do as a profession? Okay, I like playing video games. So why not stream it? I'm watching other streamers, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna stream video games. And I'm like, that's cool. And then I realized nobody wants to watch me play video games. Now, but then I had a realization. First of all, I had an interest for setting up streaming stuff. So I had interest in researching and getting the correct software together. And so once I got the software together and I built the computers and I started doing the audio and the visual, I'm like, oh, okay, this I enjoy. I can do this. This is cool. This interests me. The subject matter was, for me, the subject matter is video games, but that doesn't translate because I realized nobody wants to watch me play video games. And then I was investing in crypto for some time. There was a lack of content. So for me, I was like, you know what? I like this. I really enjoy this, this streaming setup. Pretty good at it. I know how all this stuff works now. I know crypto. And then that's how I got where I'm at. So to give you a little backstory on how I got here, it just shows you that if you do what society wants you to do, you're going to be damn miserable. And that's where I was. My family, my friends, the professions, they're like, no, don't go to the front of house. Don't learn wine. When I'm doing the wine, they're like, don't try to stream video games. Like, you're not going to make it. These decisions I made didn't essentially play out as my future, but my curiosity broke me out of the cycle that I was in. And so I would have never went from chef to content creator doing YouTube videos on crypto. That would have never been a seamless step. So I had to experiment within my field, try something else, go to different jobs, get the same results, shift here, and eventually you find yourself. So you don't need to find yourself if you're not happy where you're at. You don't need to know where the final destination is. You just got to be ready to take turns in getting there. Because if you're on a path that you don't like and you don't try to take some turns, you're never going to get to where you want to be. It's as simple as that. And society doesn't want you to take turns. They want you to work at the same damn place for the rest of your life, and that's it. That's what we've been molded to do. Go get a job in Virginia, where I grew up at. Go get a job at the shipyard. That was the golden. That was it. Get a job at the shipyard. Oh, you can get an apprenticeship, get a job at the shipyard, work there for 20 years. You can sit at the bottom of a dark ship with no lighting, with a welding gun. Do that for 10 years. Then you become a foreman and you tell other people where to go weld. And then after 25 years, you can retire, get your pension, and then get $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, not make enough money to live, get a second job. And then, yeah, that ain't for me, man. And if you're in that boat, let me just say, ain't nothing wrong with perfecting your craft if you love it. But if you're not loving your craft, don't do it for the rest of your life. Don't do that for the rest of your life, man. Life is too short. You can do anything. You can educate. You can do whatever you want. Go out and tackle life, man. Go out and do something great. Don't be ordinary. Be extraordinary. There's nothing stopping you. Anybody out there, anybody that you put on a pedestal, anybody that you idolize, anybody that you see, that they have done something that you can do as well. Doesn't matter who it is. Somebody's a CEO, or somebody's rich, somebody's got a big house, or whatever you want, whatever items or whatever finish line you're envisioning, you can go out and get it. And nothing's stopping you. It's all mindset. You just got to start with your short-term goals and long-term goals, and then just kind of organizing your life, prioritizing what's important. You do that in your personal life. You do that in your financial life. You write things out. You plan things out. Boom. You'll get there, man. You will get there. Or you can do kind of like I did and just kind of wing it. Be like, I don't like this job. I need something else. And if you don't like a job, you need something else, and you leave one kitchen and go to the next one, or say you work for one retail store. You say you're retail at Guess, and then you go work at Tommy Bahama. It's gonna be the same stuff. Don't move sideways expecting a different result. You move sideways and expect a different result, you're gonna be disappointed every time. If you're not happy being a chef, going to another restaurant ain't gonna make you happy. Now, with that said, you can have a toxic environment, and if you like the profession, if you love being a chef, and then you're working somewhere where everyone is freaking lazy and there's cockroaches or whatever it is, you're like, hey man, I got to get out of this place. And sure, that's different. But at its core, if you don't like what you're doing, changing the scenery is not gonna change. It's not gonna all of a sudden make you fall in love with the job. So, and then let's take a quick look at the chat here. We had Broke Yoshi. So he had gifted out 10 memberships. Come on, boy. So Burke, Oren Bowers, Ralphie, Junior Giles, G, Knoxville. We had San A, Carson, Chad B, Salvatore, Flow Ground, Jeremy C, all got gifted memberships by Broke Yoshi. So this is one of our whale members, one of the people that have been here since we had, I think, maybe 100 or 200 subscribers. So one of the OGs. So one of my personal friends. I've not met Broke Yoshi, but I will easily call him one of my personal friends, man. Somebody I'm close with, because he's been on this journey with me this whole time. So, and all of you are also along for this journey. We're at 7,000 subscribers, man. I think we're about to cross 8,000 soon. I think so. Excited. If you guys didn't know, next month in a couple weeks, we're going to be going down to Atlanta. So Ben Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto, he has this big cruise going on for his NFT holders, I think it is. And he's taken all of his co-hosts, so DZ and all the people that host the shows, they're all going on the cruise with the community members. So there's nobody there doing his show. And so he reached out to us, and we've had Ben in our studio doing his show. And so he kind of has seen our preparation and how we, how serious we take our show. And perhaps he's seen some parallels, because he was like, hey, would you guys like to come down to Atlanta and host our show for a week? All of us are going to be gone. You'll be doing us a solid, get you some more exposure. And we're like, hell yeah. So, so on the 16th, April 16th, we'll be down in Atlanta, and we'll be hosting. Me and David will be hosting all of BitBoy shows, and we'll be doing that for a whole week. And so I'll be standing behind the desk doing the Ben's standing ranting, and David's going to be hosting around the blockchain as what DZ would do. And so, yeah, it's me, a Sin City Crypto Takeover. So we're pretty excited about that. It'll be kind of cool, huh? And then, yeah, it was just kind of a unique opportunity. I was like, you know what? Why not? Which also, me and David were talking. We're like, we have a lot of collabs with Ben, and he's done our studio. And we had a couple people reach out to us, and they're like probing for questions. Like they think that we are like a secret branch of BitBoy's channel. Like we're like BitBoy's underground channel, and nobody like BitBoy started another channel and put us in Vegas, and he's just secretively like financing us, and we're actually like employed by him. I'm okay. And then I was talking about it. I was like, you know what? I could see that. I could see how somebody could draw all those yarn things that you would have on a draft board. Because we are around blockchain, and so anyways, that's kind of fun. I was like, people are really gonna think that we're a subsidiary of BitBoy's channel when we're there hosting it for a week, but whatever, man. Enzo says, are you gonna do the basement show? I think so, yeah. Our only thing is that we're gonna do BitBoy show. So he has his live show in the morning. We need to do our show right afterwards, so we're going to be going live from there as well. So we're going to do BitBoy's show, and then we're going to do our live show. Then I think after that would be the basement, and then after that would be around the blockchain, and then after that, I don't know if they're going to have us doing their like afternoon videos or not, but we're already there, so whatever. We're going to try to help out we're going to try to do as much content as possible while we're there. And it'll be me and David. I think Rocco's going to stay behind because for the streaming on our end, he can still run the production from our studio and then kind of patch us in. So anyways, that's just a little insight into what's going on the crypto agenda for Sin City. Cheerios McGuire says connections ? Yeah, so yeah, people are drawing the connections, man. Is there an underground bid squad? Ha ha ha. I know when I first seen the channel, it made some connections like that at first. Yeah, so I don't know, kind of cool reading what you guys are saying here. Thomas S says he thought that at one time. A lot of times, so when you're kind of trying to create a business model, or you're trying to identify like, hey, what do I want to do for my career? And so I want to create content for you guys, and so I want to do it in a way that I'm excited about, things that I like. So I tried to go out and kind of identify who in our space is making content that I enjoy and what styles are they doing. So, I watch probably 40 to 50 different content creators in our space regularly. And I'm like, I like this aspect of the show. I like what this person does. And even outside of crypto, I also looked at, hey, Bloomberg has this kind of style, CNN has this style. There's different how people address podcasts. There's a traditional style of learning through universities with professors and how they have their seminars and how they communicate with their students. So I tried to take a little bit of everything that I find valuable in a style that I find my own, and kind of cherry pick and put a little bit of that in there. And so you'll see a little bit of BitBoy in our channel. You'll see a little bit of George in our channel, little Invest Answers. You'll also see a little bit of Fox News and a little bit of Bloomberg and Kitco and the Pompliano Show and some podcasts like Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman. You'll see some Charles Hoskinson in there. And so it's a good way of kind of, if you're not familiar and what you want yourself to look like, or what your profession you want to be, you can try to emulate those that are successful. And you don't have to do this just in content. Do this in your life. And so if you're trying to be a bodybuilder and you see somebody that has a very successful career in bodybuilding, you can just kind of like evaluate, like, what are they doing? And then they're like, oh, okay, I like that. This guy does this, and I can use that for myself. Or if you're advertising, if you have a company and you're trying to start a car dealership, and you see that this other car dealership is doing this kind of advertising or this kind of promotions, or they're out in the community doing X, Y, and Z, like, hey, I should do some of these items as well. And then as your business develops, as your profession or your goals, as you get closer to those, you'll start to materialize your own style. And then you'll start unplugging from the inspirations and some of the things that got you going, and then you start doing it yourself. And then you have your own brand and you have your own vision, and then you distance yourself from other people and you try to stand out in yourself. That's kind of how most people get about it. That's how I did, at least. All right, so let's get some music going first of all. And all right, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. What are you guys doing today? What's on the agenda? It's Sunday. First of all, if you got the day off, oh no, what are you planning on doing? You're gonna clean the house? You're gonna go somewhere? You're gonna go shopping? Are you hanging out with the fam bam? Like, let me know. What's on the plans for today? It is 11 a.m. in Vegas, so I'd like to know, what are y'all doing today? And if you have any questions, just let me know. Glad to go over that. So to expand on personal growth, I do want to maybe get into education. And so kind of brushed up on that earlier with kind of how I got to where I am and streaming and kind of this channel, investing in yourself. And so I was in the restaurant industry, and I wanted to be a chef, or at least at the time I did. And so what are you doing? I went to culinary school. Got a associate's degree in the culinary arts, and then went out and got started by working my way up, working different restaurants, learning from other chefs, and any profession you want to do, you do the same. Invest in yourself. Now, it doesn't have to be college, university. Investing is also time. Doesn't mean money. Investing your time, allocating your time to perfecting your craft. And if it's a new craft to you, it's something you've never done before, then figuring out what the experts are doing, or what people that are in a similar position as you, like, say, hey, I want to get into real estate. Okay, what is some things I need to learn for somebody new getting into real estate? Because you have somebody that's an experienced real estate agent that has 10 steps on to making by growing your real estate empire, whatever it is. So there's different stages, and so whatever stage you're in the entry level stage, try to find people that are in similar scenarios as you, that, hey, there's someone else, there's a group of people, or somebody speaking to new individuals that want to get into this space. What can I learn? I will say that when it comes to real estate, there's no shortage of books on how to become a millionaire by buying a book. And you buy a book and become a millionaire. I'm gonna take a side here note. So there is no shortcut to success, okay? And a lot of these books and creators and content guys, YouTube included, it's all about how to get rich quick, how to get a 10,000x return on a crypto project, how to make millions of dollars by flipping houses. They all portray this as an easy endeavor, like it's something that they've figured out, and they're going to teach you the ways of success. And that's so far from the truth, because anything that is valuable, anything that is desirable, is always hard to get. If it was easy to get, it wouldn't really be worth much, and it's what it is. Now you can say worth in money, or worth in prestige, or worth in clout, whatever it is. These things that are harder to get require a lot of work. You can look at dirt. Dirt is a good example. Dirt is readily available. It's easy to get. I can go right outside and grab a handful of dirt. But how much can I sell that dirt for? If I had a ton of dirt in my backyard piled up and I showed somebody, I'm like, hey, guys, come look how much dirt I got. Not worth anything, right? You take rocks, for example, it's worth a little more than dirt, not by much. Same thing. I can go collect rocks and I can go try to sell rocks. I sell rocks for more than I could dirt, but not by much. Now, if I find rarer rocks, if I find decorative stones, still go outside and get decorative stones, but they're going to be harder to find. It'll take me more time to get these decorative stones, to find the granite, to find the whatever it is, find a certain kind of marble. They're more difficult to find. Now, these rocks, still not worth that much, but worth more than at least than the dirt and worth more than the random rocks. Then I can go find precious minerals next. And these precious minerals are even harder to find, especially if it's something like gold or silver or bronze or platinum or whatever it is. The more scarce it is, the harder it is to find, the more effort you have to put into getting it. And so if you want to go out and find gold, you know, if you just walk outside to your backyard and you just start digging up with a shovel, you're not going to find any because it doesn't take much effort. If you start planning, you say, hey, where can I find gold? Where is it more likely to be found? Let me go there. Let me find some techniques of finding it. And then boom. But that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot more time. It takes a lot more time than just grabbing some dirt. It takes more time than finding some rocks. It takes more time than finding some cooler rocks. Now you have to invest your energy to get it. And so that exact same situation is your life. And so if you find something and you say, hey, I can easily make $1 million without putting much effort in, it's a lie. It doesn't exist. That's a facade. It's pretend. They're playing on it's someone playing on your emotions. Now there is luck, I guess you could say. Luck, or I'd like to say that it's the universe randomly dishing out opportunities and situations. And so somebody wins the lottery here in Vegas. It's very common. Somebody wins money at a slot machine. They always say like, hey man, I made $20,000. That was easy money. Well, hey, a lot of times what we perceive as easy rises to the top for someone that just happened to get dished out a situation by the universe. The universe just said, hey, I'm going to bless you. If you happen to sit down and play this machine today, and we're going to give you $1 million, you didn't come in with more opportunity than the guy that sat there right before you. But those people get glorified and they say, look how easy I put in $20 and I won $1 million. It's that easy. Or I go and bought a lottery ticket. I bought 10 tickets for $10 and now I'm a millionaire. These stories rise to the top. They get glorified and they're showing you how easy it is. These same people prey on us when it comes to crypto tokens. Hey, easy 10,000x return on this token, but it's not realistic. You'll hear stories of success, but those are outliers. They're not the typical fashion. And so hard work in your personal life, in your personal investing, your research and your patience, that's what's going to get you the big returns. And also not, biting your arm off when you want to hit sell because the market dropped or some FUD came out. Have conviction in what you're investing in. And yeah, if you're big into Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or whatever it is, just have conviction, buy, and that's it. Stick by it. FOMO Sapien said I can spend many thousands of dollars on very plain rocks for my muddy driveway. Yeah. But then again, those rocks don't come easy, right? You got to go to a company. They source those rocks. They got to all be uniform in size. They got to, you're paying for a certain style of rocks. Okay. Rick McGee says Dish did the driveway. Got my friend's pricing though. A lot of driveway talk here. So we also got Kikio Bridges. Sorry if I misspelled your name. And Rick McKee in Crypto Shinobi. If you're new here, say hello so we can jump on hola back at you. Hola! Also, Bitcoin DCA up in here as well. So you got investing in yourself. So I kind of started with this with investing in yourself, educating yourself. Nothing comes easy. If there's something you want, just go out, apply yourself, and become an expert, a seasoned expert with experience. And you only get this through repetition and just doing it over and over again. And it doesn't matter what their profession is, the job, the career, the hobby. If you want to get good at it, you just got to keep doing it over and over again. And most of the time, you're going to see no results for a long ass time. And so if you go out and you want to be good at shooting free throws, you're going to have to shoot 20,000 free throws before you're going to see any meaningful improvement, right? Because hey, I want to get better at free throws. You shoot 5 free throws today, and then you shoot 6 free throws 4 days from now. You're not going to get any better at it. But if you do it, you do it for 20 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow, 20 minutes the day after, 20 minutes the day after, you might not see any progress in the microcosm, the short-term windows. But when you zoom out over time, the repetitiveness will build perfection. And so the same thing when it comes to finances, investing as well. And then I will say that, let's see, I got a couple of notes here on, and then there's financial challenges. And so you need to be able to weather the storm and not fall apart when you reach adversity. So in a business, if you have something that breaks or goes, that happens, your personal life, if you get fired, you should use these opportunities as a learning experience to be better prepared in the future. So if you got fired and then you're like, hey, I can't pay my bills, perhaps next time you have a job, the next job you get, perhaps set some money aside. Hey, if something were to happen, I'm not gonna, have a risk losing my home for the simple fact that I had a disagreement with my boss or they had some layoffs or whatever it is. So just kind of prepare for worst case scenarios, or, also have a rainy day fund, something to break. And then, take note of what worked and what didn't, and try to focus on what did work and rebuild those and fortify those. And then also take note of what doesn't work when you have failures, because those are opportunities to learn and not have that happen again. All right. I think that's going to be it for my thesis here. Just as like a conclusion here to the kind of personal growth, I want to emphasize that there is a direct link between your organized life and organized finances and financial success. So if your personal life is in disarray, if your personal home is cluttered, if you have clutter in your house and crap in your house and your personal life and your car and your work habits, organization there will bring clarity and you can more easily guide. And then take control. I think, with being in the crypto space, we are looking to take control of our finances, right? That's kind of why you got in the space. You want to get out of the banks. You want to, custody your own crypto. These things are what we're doing in crypto. This is us trying to take control of our financial life, right? And let's take control. Not only take control, like not only say, hey, I want to custody my own crypto, but like, let's be a badass about it, right? Let's make some money. Let's be financially responsible. Let's not blow money on stupid crap. And let's start identifying where we can make some money. Set that capital aside, pull the trigger. Let's freaking do it. Because if you guys are watching this, you probably want to make more money. You want to get more returns on the investment, right? And if that's the situation, then let's take control. Be a badass about it. And let's kind of go through what we talked about. Set your short-term goals up, your long-term goals. Let's identify where we got capital that's being misallocated, and let's realign that to where we need. And let's take control. Let's be a badass. Be ultra efficient with your capital and put it in the right places. And then just go out and be great, man. Go out and be great. Something you want to do, just go do it. All right, so that's going to wrap up my my personal growth thing. I'm going to shift over to some of the chat here. Eric Ward says, fellas, I believe that the low of 12,000 has been met if you take to inflation 7%, then factoring, the price of Bitcoin. I realized the other day, the price of Bitcoin is more or less a measure on inflation, right? Think about it. The supply doesn't move at all. Well, you have what's being mined, but essentially you have a finite supply that isn't printed or adjusted upward, not in any meaningful way. And then you have that tied to a dollar value, right? And so if you take away the peaks of crypto and the bottoms of crypto, or at least in the price of Bitcoin, you get more of a median price. And I think that inflation, or what people, the value of the dollar, as it gets more inflated and you can buy less with it, Bitcoin is a pretty good measure of inflation, right? And so the most recent bet that I forget the guy's name, but where Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, he's betting not Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. He's betting that inflation, we're going to have hyperinflation, and that the value of the dollar is going to be so suppressed that assets like Bitcoin are going to be worth so much more because the value of the dollar is dropping. And so when we look at Bitcoin, I think it's more of a measure of inflation. Now, as market adoption comes in, you're also going to get a price, but definitely as inflation goes up, Bitcoin's price also goes up because you have less purchasing power to your dollar. So all assets. Now, here's the thing. If we had hyperinflation, and let's just say Bitcoin theoretically were to go to $1 million, you're going to also see something pretty comparable to all commodities, especially gold, for example, which is probably our closest comparison to Bitcoin. All right, let's play some music and round this thing out. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you enjoyed today's show, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1. I enjoyed today's show. Put a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed the show. Actually, do that. And also, let's get an Oladios as well in here. So I'm going to put a 1 in the chat, and I'm going to put an Oladios. That's Miss Teen Crypto's thing. So that's kind of cool. And then Matt K. Mattresses. LOL. Did I miss something? We also have Rick saying, they be printing. Eric Ward says, wonderfully said. We also had Dave Digital said he's been lurking over here the whole time. A lot of ones. So glad to see you guys are enjoying this. Taco Berry says, what up, Rob? Yeah, on one end, it's like, should I make a video where I just kind of just talk about personal growth in a space of cryptocurrency? Like, I find the value of it. I find the correlation between the two extremely valuable, and I want to share that with you guys. But from a business point of view, because it's not just myself, it's not, I don't get to just create exactly what I want to. I got to think about the others around me. I got Rocco and Kyler and David, and I don't want to mess up the YouTube algorithm. So I gotta be conscious of what I create. So I'm always questioning, like, is this the right content? So I'm glad to see that, you know, a lot of ones here, you guys like it. Definitely growing. You know, over 100 viewers. So it's always good. Got, I think, up to 180 viewers today. Yeah, definitely not for everybody, but I enjoy it. I enjoy kind of having more a one-on-one with you guys. I feel like more of a connection between you, me, Sundays, versus during the week, where just kind of talking about the biggest news or articles and big, loud, opinionated, you know, positions on where I stand. Wick saying we're in a bear market. I think we're coming out of bear market. Anthony Johnson like a one. 88 Mania says should be on a different channel. Yeah, probably. We'll see. Later on, we'll probably expand when our channel gets bigger. We'll expand and we'll have more channels, but it's hard to balance all this, man. I also still work, you know. I know you guys might not know, but still work a full-time job. So do this, work a full-time job, put content together, trying to always expand, traveling. It's tough, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. Now I relish it. I take on the responsibility. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love being extremely busy, I guess. Not really busy. It's just like trying to accomplish as much as possible. Motivates me. How much can I get done today? There's a lot to get done. Boy, I'm hungry, you know? And yeah, 88 Mania says start growing your network. Life with Big Rob. Is that what you're saying? I should just do another show, Life with Big Rob. Anthony Johnson says respect. Cheerio says stay away from Big Boy. Big Boy's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. He's got a big ass opinion, man. He's really loud spoken and it rubs people the wrong way. I could understand where people take offense to it, I guess. I don't know, man. It just sometimes that conviction that a lot of people are scared to have, people don't like to hear it. And they want soft spoken and, you know, not too loud. And, you know, man, he's got a megaphone, man. He's got a big platform. He's built a big company. And so hats off to him, man. I respect the man. You gotta respect the grind though, no matter what. That dude, he is grinded. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Big shout out to all of you. If you're new here, come check us out Monday through Friday. And yeah, man. So with that said, enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. And DCA, be great. Till next time.